Hello and welcome back to T3 Handicapping. This is Chris and I am here to bring you the late pick 5 on Sunday, December 12th, 2021 from Aqueduct Racecourse in New York. Thank you for joining. If you're new to the channel, please go ahead and like and subscribe to this video. Subscribing will make sure that you get access to all of our new content. We try and put out content several times a week, especially for the weekend cards. We'll do things from Oaklawn, Aqueduct, Gulfstream, and various venues around the country, especially when big days are coming up. So if you're new, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're returning viewer, customer, whatever it is, thanks for joining us once again, and thank you for your continued support of T3 Handicapping. Let's jump into our Aqueduct picks for Sunday, December 12th. Before we get into that, just a couple reminders. You can always find us t3handicapping.weebly.com. That's where you can get access to all of our picks. The sheets we go through here will be called the race summaries. You can get access to those. Plus, you get a sheet at the beginning of every single track that just gives you all of our picks. A's, B's, C's. Right now, over the course of about 1,000 races, our A horses are hitting at about 75%. So just even using the picks alone can be a really great tool. Some races there will be just one A. Sometimes there will be 4 or 5 A's, depending on how open the race is. So you can get access to all of that right there at t3handicapping.weebly.com. And if you are new to the website, new to our product, just go ahead and click on the free one-day access. We will give you access to our entire portal for 1 day free of charge. After that, it is only $10 for an entire month. And that includes any track that we post in the member portal. As always, you can see our results and things like that too, so you can kind of keep track of how we're doing as you are subscribing to us as well. But even if you're not a subscriber yet to our memberships, you can check our results on our website as well, and that's all at t3handicapping.weebly.com. Other places you can find us right here on YouTube with these live streams, usually in the evening, right around the 8 or 9 o'clock time slot. That's Central Time. And then you can find us on Facebook. I do throw a lot of exclusives into our Facebook page. You can like and follow that. It's T3 Handicapping (horse racing), and then Twitter at Handicapping T3. That's a little bit more informal way for me to communicate with the Twitterverse. So a lot of kind of like real-time thoughts will go out there as well. So lots of different ways to follow along as you're going through that. Without further ado, though, let's jump into the reason you're here, which is to hear about Aqueduct. So we're going to talk through the late pick 5 here, and the late pick 5 starts in race 5. Nope, sorry, starts in race 6, I believe. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, 5. There's only 9 races tomorrow. Sorry, I'm trying to get my bearings about me here. We're starting off race number 5, class level 16, 6 furlongs on the dirt, and it's projected to be a pretty slow pace. We've seen speed hold pretty well at Aqueduct. I'm going to continue to rely on that trend, and so I'm going to be using here New York Supreme and Captivating Kara on my top line. I think New York Supreme has a pretty good chance of getting on or near the lead. There might be a little bit of speed to the inside, but I feel pretty confident that Captivating Kara is just naturally the fastest horse. Even if it's not on the lead, at least we'll be kind of right in the mix there and should get a decent outside trip. The other one that I'm interested in is New York Supreme is the other one that I like. That one I think will try and sit a little bit closer and then gets the best of race flow on our numbers. So I've got Captivating Kara and New York Supreme on the A line. I like Starship Rogue as kind of an unknown commodity in this group as a B horse. I also like the Path Less Taken. The horse I had trouble with was Phenomenal Woman. I didn't quite know what to make of that one. The numbers don't rate out super high on our list, but you can also see it 3-1. Gets a B+. I don't know. I think the price is going to be a little bit short for me to use that one, so I will probably end up not using that one when push comes to shove, but it was one that I was interested in. I really do think the 9 is the strongest contender in this race. Race number 6, this is the second leg. We're going class level 10, 8 furlongs on the dirt, projected to be a really fast pace, but even when the pace has been quick, the paces haven't totally melted down for the most part at Aqueduct, and this one doesn't look like it's going to be blazing, so I'm going to go with El Samuro. I think this one's going to be able to sit a little bit closer and should have enough kick coming home. Just in case that doesn't work, I've got Striking Speed, who I think is another one that's going to be forwardly placed and obviously puts up some of the best speed and stamina numbers, has been running against really good horses, so that's the one that I like there. Other horses that were interesting to me were Beachfront, just from a speed perspective. If the horse gets on the front and nobody challenges, I think that one could be interesting. And then La Quaya Road looks to sit sort of a middle trip. I did not use Pier 40, and the main reason that I didn't is I just get a little leery when their only top number comes in connections. It's great to have good connections. That's a very important part. And you can see the horse isn't that light on a lot of figures, but I'm going to take 8 to 1 and 5 to 1 as opposed to the 4 to 1 here. I also think Pier 40 could take a little bit of sneaky money as well. So I'm going to go against that one. It's probably someone that I would. It's probably a horse that if the price drifts up, I may actually use because then I feel like I'm getting value. But just at that price, I didn't particularly care for. Race number 7, we have a class level 8, 8 furlongs on the dirt. And this one I like Exotic West. Exotic West is a top play for me, and so I'm going to be using that one pretty heavily. This one just looks like it's in good form. It could get out to an early lead. Now, I do think it will have some pressure, but it has the best stamina, and it's been running against really good horses. Just everything about this horse I really like, and so I'm going to be really heavily through this one. I am a little nervous about Kedupai. That one has the top ability rating. Also, is very competitive in a lot of the same categories as the number 6. I also think Matula should be considered just because that one is going to want to run on the front. I'm just not sure if that one's actually fast enough to get there. And then the last one that I did use, I kind of went off the board here on this one and went way down here to Suspended Campaign. Suspended Campaign just concerns me a little bit because it's supposed to be the same class level as Exotic West. Now, I think Exotic West should be able to outlast this one because of the advantages in the other categories. But at the same time, I think class can be really important and can really amplify things like, for example, these speed figures. So, if I'm projecting the class difference to be, let's even say, 8 to 10 speed figure points, then that's going to take these guys from 110 and 106 to 116 and 120, which is going to push them up over the top. And now all of a sudden, you start pushing these numbers forward, and the 3 starts showing up in a lot more places. Race number 8. This is going 8 furlongs. It's a class level 4, so these are really good horses on the dirt. And this one, actually, 3 jokers for me came out to be one of my top plays. I get a little nervous when it's a top play, but some of that ranking comes from here. It gets a good comparative advantage in those 2 categories, and I don't particularly see those as primary categories. For me, when I'm looking at a really solid lock, I'm looking for speed, class, form, and rating. To me, those are the ones that really jump off the page as being vitally important. These kind of tend to be ancillary things that I think can elevate horses but don't necessarily make them key contenders. So it makes me nervous when I'm looking at this horse and I'm seeing he's first in 3 of the categories, but 2 of them are here in my in my more like ancillary kind of position. Rating is good. I like that the rating is good. But I'm a little nervous about that. So I want to make sure I have more coverage. I was going to just use the 8-9 and then go from there. But I do think Adair is going to be really good. Is coming in good form and has the class, which I think is going to be vitally important. But then I also really like Dust Devil as well, and I just felt at 12 to 1 that one has to be on the A line. If I were going to drop one of these down, I would probably end up dropping the 9, actually. And the reason for that is simply that the horse does not rate as the top in any one category, and also is a closing type, which I'm not sure there's going to be enough pace in here to make that really meaningful. But I think this is a pretty wide open race. I do have the 2 favorites. I'm not 100% sure that they're good favorites, but I also think they're very likely to win. And in a pick 5, sometimes you need to survive. The last race then of the day is a class level 14, 6 furlongs on the dirt, projecting a slow pace. A lot of horses in here, and I think scratches are going to make this ticket a lot more affordable. Because I like Boom Boom Kaboom. Obviously, I don't like it breaking from the 16 post, but isn't also eligible. It's not. It will either get into the race or it won't. Even if it gets in, it's probably going to be breaking from the 12, which I don't terribly love, but I do think Boom Boom Kaboom is really good. Majestic Tiger is one I'm very interested in this spot, and it will depend sort of on how scratches go to see how prominently I want to play that one. Honestly, Majestic Tiger 7-2, it's about as short as I want to take it. I think this horse is the most likely winner, but I also think this is a race that could see a lot of chaos just because of how many horses we have and the fact that, there's a lot of unknowns with this group. I do think that War Novel is an interesting horse at 8-1. That one rates out as an A for me as well. Good stamina, good class, and shows up in a couple other areas as well, which can make them a really strong contender at a long price. And so I wanted to use that one on the A line as well. I like that that horse is drawn a little bit more to the inside. The 12 and the 16, who are my other top selections, they're just going to have a lot of work to do. The other two horses that I put on here were Hangout and Tough Workout, both of whom I project to be relatively forwardly placed, at least in the mix, trying to compete, trying to contend towards the front. And again, depending on how scratches draw these horses, if a couple horses to the inside of the 10 scratch out and move that horse into about the 7 path, that suddenly becomes a lot more interesting than breaking from the 10. But I'm just going to kind of have to play it by ear. I always struggle when I have a 16 horse field because I know automatically there's going to be a lot of scratch outs, and that's going to change not just who my top pick is, because when the 7 scratches out, it doesn't automatically mean that the 16 becomes my second choice. The system that we use will actually recalibrate the entire race based on the new pace scenario with other horses out and things like that. So it can totally change as these horses come out. So I try not to get too set in stone into my handicapping opinions on here, especially like with our grid. A lot of times I'll rely heavily on the horses that show up in the first spot. But you can see here, like the 15 could scratch, the 13, the 16, and the 16. Those are all also eligible horses that take up some pretty key boxes. So, once Boom Boom Kaboom scratches out, well, now all of a sudden you're talking about the 13 becoming the form horse. Well, when the 13 scratches out, because it's also eligible, now it's a co 12, 14, but the 14's out because it's also eligible. So it's really now the 12 is the form horse. When you look at the jockey trainer, once these two scratch out, it becomes the 12 again. Okay, so now we're starting to look at maybe the 12 as a lone A. So it's one of those tough things to really gauge this early, but that's kind of where I'm sitting for right now. Now, I did want to go through and actually turn this into a ticket, and originally I was looking at potentially playing the pick 6, because I thought maybe there was a carryover, but I was wrong on that. There is no carryover on the pick 6. So I said, well, let's go back down to the pick 5. I like the pick 5. I'm a smaller player, so playing on a little bit of a smaller budget is good for me. And so that's why I ended up kind of going from the pick 6 down to the pick 5. And so you can see here on our ticket constructor. Now, this is something that you can actually purchase off the website. You purchase it one time for $5, and then you can use it forever. It's got a nice little reset that you can have, so you can quickly eliminate everything here. But you can see I actually filled this in for the pick 6 using the ticket that I just talked about. Going through everything, I put in a 50-cent wager for $100, and you can see that I came out way too expensive, $220. I just can't handle a ticket of that cost. That's just outside of the scope of my budget. But you can see what my pick 6 would have looked like if I was here. One of the things that that I think is a really great feature of this is, like, if you wanted to go back and see what the pick 6 paid, or the pick 6 was, you could go back here and you could check all the individual tickets on these tabs across the bottom, which I recognize you can't see because of our crawl. So, but there's a daily double, pick 3, pick 4, tab that you can go and just see kind of what's all there. If you look at the pick 5 and you're like, man, 220 is just still too expensive, you can keep going down. Here's what the pick 4s would look like. Those would only cost you $68 for 50 cents. When you get down to the pick 3 and the daily double, it will actually break them into rollings. So this is leg 1, 2, 3. So that would have been race 4, 5, 6, and then this would be 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. 8, 9, 10, and so on, 7, 8, 9 to the end. So it breaks it down so that if you get to a spot where you're like, man, I just can't make this budget work, you can go to the next denomination down and sort of lessen your burden. But we already said I'm playing the pick 5. I really want to play the pick 5, and I want to do it for $100. It's using starting in leg 2, because that's where the pick 5 starts here. And you can see as I'm looking at my tickets, the one that some of these C tickets are kind of killing me. But if you remember in what would be considered leg 4, this is where I had Exotic West. That was the horse that I liked a lot. And so what I'm going to actually do is I'm just going to go to my pick 5 over here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to eliminate any ticket that's not singled. I'm just going to make Aloha West, or not Aloha West, whatever it was, something West. I'm going to make that one my top selection. Now it's going to drive me crazy. Exotic West. There we go. I'm going to use Exotic West. That's going to be the one that I'm going to use here. You can see this one's singled to the 6, so I'm going to keep that one. This one is not, so I'm going to take that one off my chart. You can see it removes it here, but it also will remove it from up here. So you can see my cost went down to $172 right away. I've got it here. I don't have it here, so I'm going to take that one out. I've got the C choice here. And then let's see, 6 and 6. So now I went through, I took it out, and look at this, boom. We landed right on $100. My all A ticket, 5-9 with 6-9 with 6 with 5-6-8-9 with 7-12 and 16 is $24. And then I've got one B ticket, which is B-A-A-A-A, so it's all A's 1B. And then I do have 3 all A's 1C as well, coming out to 16, 24, and 12 apiece. You put those all together, and you end up with 100. You'll notice that everything went back to black here because we are fully within budget. So that's how I'll be looking to play the late pick 5 from Aqueduct. Tomorrow, you can see we've been pretty good there. Over 84 races. Our A selections are winning 55.95% of the time. Our top selections are winning at about 30%, which is just a little bit above our average for all tracks. Our top 4 winners are winning at almost 80% there, and our top play winners are winning at actually almost 50%, which is well above the average for that. So it's a track we've been having a lot of success, especially the last couple days, and we're looking to parlay that today into the late pick 5 on Sunday. So that's how we'll be playing. Again, if you want to get the whole card from Aqueduct, we also have Fairgrounds and Oaklawn for tomorrow. If you want to get any of that stuff, or you want to purchase the ticket constructor like I just used in the video, all of that's available on our website. So stop in there and go ahead and purchase a subscription. Remember, you get your first day for free. Just sign up for the one-day pass. I'll get you access. And hopefully you can cash some tickets. Thank you for your continued support of T3 Handicapping. Cash them.